Dinner and a Book is supported by the Rex and Alice A. Martin Foundation of Elkhart, celebrating the spirit of Alice Martin and her love of good food and good friends.
A house, a bridge, and a garden start as an idea, a sketch, a plan. But what happens next? Someone needs to work the saws and pound the nails. Someone has to dream big, and here is our dreamer who dreams big, Eric Garton, director of Wellfield Botanic Gardens.
Hi, Gail.
Welcome.
I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I'm glad to have you back at least 6 times now.
It is
right?
and it's a gorgeous spot. Thank you for joining us here at Wellfield today.
Well, we love to come here, don't we?
Absolutely.
We do, we do. So let's start a little bit with the idea. We talked about a dream.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how many years ago the board started, well, not the board, but Rotary started dreaming.
That's right. The
of this
Elkhart
garden.
Rotary Club, more than 20 years ago, so it was back in 2002, 2003, they got a request from Rotary International, this big overarching clubs all around the
Yes.
world. They were turning 100 years old. And they wanted all the local clubs to do something big, to dream big. And here we are at the North Main Street Wellfield in Elkhart, Indiana, where Elkhart gets still 60
It's
to 70% of its
Yes.
water.
Yes.
And a group of very ambitious and very visionary Rotarians, a steering committee, got the idea to create a public botanic garden. And here we are more than 20 years later,
Yeah.
standing in that garden.
20 years.
And we're still seeing it grow. And
Yes.
it really kind of brings me back to this amazing book that we're talking about today.
This is a great book, and particularly for children that like to build things and like to dream. And I just think it's terrific. And you've
Yeah.
sold out in the bookstore.
We just got a new batch in, but yeah, it's been very popular. And really, for me, it was very inspiring just not knowing much about construction and how
Yes.
things are made. We tend to take things for granted.
Oh, sure, somebody else is going to do it.
Something
right?
just, you walk into a house, you walk into that new building, but believe me, the construction project that we have going on here really got me thinking about all the steps along the way,
Right.
which really helped to inspire how I'm thinking about a very simple dish today.
We're going to build some food.
But I thought about it, and I thought about how we actually build it and all the parts that go into making
So what are you going to build today?
that. I'm going to make a kind of a cool, elevated vegetarian sandwich on ciabatta.
Elevated.
I'm
It's
gonna,
gonna be high.
we're gonna build it.
Yes.
We wanted to focus on things that we build today. How about you?
Well, I'm going to build several salads.
All right.
And one will be, it's a Creole salad, rings of white onion, rings of tomato, and then a special sauce on top. And we just keep layering it. And then I have a wonderful fruit salad that is so simple you'll just want to sit down and laugh. I mean, it is so simple, but it's amazing how beautiful it is. And it can change depending on when the season is. If it's the early season, what are the early fruits and such things as that. Well, we talked about how the dream began.
Yep.
Let's now talk about our food.
Sure.
And we know, I'm going to start with my onions and slice. You start
Yep.
with your ciabatta and tell us what you're doing.
So, any foundation has got to be strong and sturdy.
Right.
And I thought ciabatta rolls are going to be a perfect foundation, nice and strong. It'll help hold the good stuff that we put on there. And just like when you're building a building, you got to start with a strong foundation.
There you go. Ciabatta, strong foundation. Mothers know that when they're making sandwiches for their children.
I think what we're going to start with too, I've got real simple. Gail, I love this. Just even thinking about building something to put on your sandwich.
Yes, what did you
It's
make?
just a simple mayonnaise with some garlic, and also I threw a little bit of yellow sriracha in there.
Ooh,
So it
wonderful.
spiced it up a little bit, but not too much. And I'm just going to put that on one side of this bread because I've got something special for the other side too.
I love the way you've taken a good bread that people really enjoy. It is sturdy, so it
Yep.
will be a good foundation.
It's sturdy and it's also porous, so it allows for some of this stuff to get down inside, and also it's not going to squish out when we go to eat the sandwich.
You know, I saw a sandwich. I almost sent it to you. It was slices of that buffalo cheese and slices of avocado.
Nice.
And then the thing that put everything together was a tapenade. And you just layer it and layer it, and then
That's right.
you
And I-
use a knife and fork to
And again,
enjoy it.
Thinking about how these things get built and all the parts that go into it from the book, that was where I started thinking, okay, everything has to work together. And so thinking about different flavors and also thinking structurally. So I also went with some avocado and made just
Good.
a really simple guacamole here.
The key here is to get these slices to be sort of attractive, nice perfect rings. And you see this kind of salad in New Orleans a lot. It's a Creole salad, so guess what? That's why. And this book I find it charming because it follows exactly the way the gardens kind of developed. You know,
Yep.
we have wonderful
Yep.
gardens with animals, our bears and our buffalo and our little chipmunks and birds and
We at Wellfield, we really want to celebrate nature. And again, those are
Yes.
just some of those different pieces all working together, because just like with food and dinner, you got a lot of different people that like a lot of different things and have different tastes. We want to provide a space that has a little bit of something for everyone. So
Right.
having some sculpture, having of course a lot of plants, those are all really parts of what make up a garden. And then we've got people who are experts in all of those. Again, just like building that dream where you've actually got to have different aspects of that all coming together. That's what we've done here for Wellfield.
well, and I see in this book there are a lot of pictures of so many different people and
Yep.
men and women. And the women are driving machines and the men are working in the office.
Yep.
And it's just a perfect book
Well,
for this time, this setting.
It's very inclusive, and it's also very encouraging. I think too much anymore, especially at gardens, and just in construction in general, I think people tend to still feel that that's a male-dominated,
Yes.
field, and we've got a lot more folks that we're seeing on a daily basis out there. So I'll tell you, while you're
Yes,
cutting
while
your
I'm
tomatoes,
slicing.
one of the things that I really like, so the key to my tomatoes, and this is one of those things for me, and I hope you like pepper.
I
Because
do.
I love pepper and a little bit of fresh ground salt here on my tomatoes. That just adds something so much to this.
Well,
so,
yes.
But before I do that, because I have these nice, I got some mortar on there. That's how I've been thinking
That's
about
your
this. So we got
mortar.
this mortar layer, and I'm gonna go over here, and I got some baby Bella mushrooms.
You checked
so I'm
those
gonna-
out, right?
I'm
You
gonna
make
lay-
sure they were
They,
safe.
they are the right mushrooms, that's for sure. And so I'm actually going to layer those down, and almost like building tiles a little bit. So you got to put in good floor, right?
You have to have a
And you
good
got to have
basic,
something to
good base.
hold it together. So that's where we're going with this.
And I think I like the fact that the author, the woman,
Yeah.
her father worked in this kind of work.
Yeah.
He drove all the machinery, and the family was so proud of
Love
his
that.
work.
I love that.
And she was proud of her dad's work.
Yep.
And I just thought that was charming.
Truly inspired
Yes.
the book in that way. I've got some sprouts too that I'm going to use to kind of layer over here on our other side. These are just alfalfa sprouts, but the guacamole is going to kind of help hold those together and create a bit of another good layer of foundation. Maybe a little bit over here on the mushrooms.
And
Do you like sprouts?
sprouts?
Yeah,
Yes, I
I
do.
do too.
I like them. I like them for a lot of reasons.
Me too.
And sometimes you cook them in a little butter and put them on top of an Italian dish. And that
There you
adds
go.
a bit
There
of
you go.
zing.
So now on with our tomatoes.
And we're going to have a little picnic later on.
That sounds like a great plan.
Carry our food with us.
We're gonna do some lettuce on here. I got some nice green leaf lettuce. I'm big into textures. So
I like texture.
for me, I don't mind if there's stuff hanging out of the side of my sandwich.
Well, you don't want everything a sauce. You don't want everything
that's right.
Rugged.
So it's got to have a nice texture. It's got to have a nice look to it. And some of these things are kind of helping to keep them on there. So these are definitely these are big mouth sandwiches, Gail. So I hope you're going to be ready
hope I have
for
a
this.
big mouth. Oh, look at that. Terrific.
These are what we call in my household. You pick them up once. That's it. You got to hold on.
They're good for camping. Terrific. Well, I
like the color that you've got on your plate there.
Well, I like color too. And we're going to add just a little bit of a Greek sauce here. See how simple that is? People say, oh, I don't know what to bring. I don't know what to bring. I can't cook. Well, this isn't cooking. And I've got to put a few more things at the end here. But basically, here's our salad. And I can build it up and have more layers.
I like that.
And let's see. We have also, I'm going to put some maple syrup.
I noticed maple syrup on the table. I'm always intrigued when there's maple syrup on the table.
Well, you know, the Native Americans use those.
That's for sure.
For their seasoning. Now, I'm going to
kind of layer your salad on there.
Yes. And you know, you can serve this with whipping cream or sour cream with brown sugar, ice cream. But here you go.
It just really kind of lends itself to a nice summer dinner picnic too.
And why not just have a few things sitting out on a plate?
Yep.
Your beautiful plates, I had to have them show here. So we're going to take a break, just a short break. And in the meantime, we want to show you some pictures from this book. And then maybe we'll have some pictures to show from the actual experience of building this garden. So stay with us. We're going to take a walk through the gardens and we're going to end up at the brand new building called
the Visitor Center.
The Visitor Center. So come on, we're going to take a walk and share our picnic. We'll be right back. We had a nice walk up here to the new area with lots of building going on, and we want to talk about the master plan, how this all came about.
Yeah, so thinking about this and that someone builds a dream, we talked about how the Rotary Club founded this garden in 2005, and there was a master plan created. A lot of work has gone on, and we saw that on our walk around, but this is the culmination of a major piece of that. This is a new visitor center and a pavilion, so we'll have a stage for concerts and room for 300 people covered outside, and we'll also have room for over 200 people seated at a meal inside, and some administrative offices, a gift shop. It's what we've been dreaming about.
That's yes, right. And it's coming to a culmination.
It is, absolutely.
And I just love this piece behind us, the pavilion that was built in a day.
It is literally, it has been, what you see behind us right now has literally taken only about a day. But don't forget about all the design and all the people behind the scenes that envisioned what it was going to look like. And then someone drew up plans. And then someone talked to someone who can make those pieces. And so the reason it's only taken a day to construct what we see behind us, that's because it was made away from here, and it was all designed and shaped and put together, and now it's kind of like Lincoln Logs.
Well, you know,
it's got this big crane just lifting things into place.
It was a dream, it was a plan. Now it's being implemented with all these many workers that have come to work. The whole, what has it been, 8 years of building here?
It has been a good 10 plus years of really solid building that's gotten Wellfield to where it is. But This one, this is the largest project that has ever been undergone at one time at Wellfield.
And there's a truck that wants to be sure he's in the show, right?
That's right.
And we love having all these people come in, and they add their spirit, their energy to the Wellfield Gardens. And we're so blessed to have so many great people working here at the garden.
And really great craftsmen.
Yes, they are.
And we're going to see some
more
of that.
Talking about that, let's go to the next spot.
Yep. We're going to go up the trail to the Conversation Garden.
All right, let's go. Come on with us. And we're going to stop and we're going to actually talk about this, right?
This is a really cool sculpture.
It really is.
It is. It's called Freedom, and it was actually a gift from the family of Bob Richardson, who's one of our donors and one of those people that helped us get things going, and the vision and the dream here at Wellfield.
He made it happen for us.
I love that you have both a sculpture, you had someone who did this, you have someone who actually cast this sculpture, and then you had someone who worked as a stone mason, who helped pick the rock, and we also have a really ancient, if we think about all these plaques that we have actual bronze casting, and we use a local foundry right here next to the gardens. All those pieces coming together.
They come, and local people have built things here for us. It's amazing. Absolutely.
Behind us, everything we see, everything has been done, by people, and the design of Wellfield Botanic Gardens, we're really trying to bring that together. It's such a cool thing.
Just think about how many people we would have if they all were here and we could say thank you.
Yeah.
It would be such a huge group.
Thousands of people.
Yes,
and really just so many pieces and come together, and that's where that someone building a dream really comes together.
Well, I think this is lovely.
It is. It's a great space.
Yes.
This is called the Conversation Garden, and this is a sculpture in the Conversation Garden. But in front of us we see pavers that have been gifts of donors who have wanted to either memorialize a loved one, just maybe an inspirational message, just trying to create a space. And we call it the Conversation Garden. We have these great spaces to sit. And you can actually just sit and enjoy and talk about, converse about the memories that these pavers provide. And I'm very fortunate. As part of my job here as director, I actually choose to do the installation, and I work with some of the donors who put these in. But I actually install these, so I love hearing the stories from the donors, and I get to know all about these pavers.
What a memorable experience you've had.
It's a great way to connect.
To connect to the people in Elkhart, their families. Bravo. Bravo.
I love being a part of building other streams.
Yes. Oh, this is so great.
Yeah.
And I see names that I recognize. Come on down and read these pavers.
Yeah.
You'll find them very interesting, and you'll say, well, I know this person.
Right.
There's Gloria's name. There's Linda. Oh my gosh.
I've seen people reconnect with old friends based on, seeing a paver that they might have put in the garden, and then they'll call them up, or talking about family. We've seen your parents, memorialized in the Conversation Garden.
Or we also have class stones, like the class of 1960. So come on down and take a look. Come to the Wellfield Gardens and feel the spirit here.
Want to move up the trail a little
bit? Let's go.
All right, Gail. We've taken a little refuge here under this little pavilion located in the Japanese garden, but I really wanted to show you what's behind us. It's our newest garden that we've opened, and it's called the Peace Garden. It started out, remember we were talking about that building a dream. It actually started out as a garden in the master plan called the Hosta Garden.
I remember that, yes.
But because of the way that we fund our gardens, and that donors are sought to fund these, we realized that hosta, the name hosta, even though it's a plant that a lot of people are familiar with, it just didn't have a
ring.
It didn't have a real sexy ring to it. So it still has an amazing collection of hostas included.
They're beautiful.
But it's called the Peace Garden.
Peace.
And so you'll actually see elements of a Japanese garden in the Peace Garden because it's adjacent to our Japanese style island garden. And you'll see amazing stone masonry. There is a bench in there, and I'd encourage everyone to come and see this at some point. But there is a stone bench in there that it is not stone veneer, it is solid boulders that have been put together. And you have craftsmen who are just amazing artists. It's hard to call them stone workers. They're truly artists who actually
and
work
they're
in
from this
stone.
area.
They're from this area.
From
absolutely.
this area, and that is a strong foundation for peace.
That is definitely
Just
a strong foundation. And then
stone.
the woodwork also, that was done by Bruce Gowdy and Al Eggink and Eggink Construction, and they take local wood. In fact, they built this pavilion that we're standing under. They built pretty much all of the wooden structures that you see around Wellfield. They have had a hand in those, but more importantly, they include native wood in that. So they'll try to include pieces of wood that either came from the garden or in this area to include in that, to really create that sense of place.
That's a miracle, isn't it? And I think that should be on written materials.
Absolutely.
It's just excellent. And it goes with our book today.
Yeah.
Because it is a dream, and peace, sometimes is a dream, and it should always be a dream for the future. And here you can come in and walk through it. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and so tell us about some of the statues. What do we have?
We also within the Peace Garden, we've actually included some pedestals for sculptures, and one of those is called Emerging Peace. That is actually the name from the artist, and it was part of our Origami in the Gardens sculpture traveling exhibit that we had, and a wonderful donor who doesn't like a lot of fanfare actually purchased that piece for us to include in our Peace Garden. So again, that process of it all coming together with the people who designed the sculptures, and this sculpture, Emerging Peace, is actually shows the butterfly life cycle. And so it starts with the egg on a leaf at the bottom of the sculpture, and then a caterpillar and a chrysalis, and then an emerging butterfly. So it's again that whole process, which really about building a dream. You have an artist working with a garden, working with a donor to actually put that in the garden and then have that all work together. Well, it's been quite a weather day. It looks like the rain is actually letting up a little bit. How about we go enjoy that picnic?
Let's go have a picnic. We'll go someplace warm and dry, and let's get going.
Sounds
all
great.
Right? Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Eric. Well, we've enjoyed our trip here again at the Wellfield Botanic Gardens, and it's wonderful to see all the projects that people have built.
And all the steps that go into those.
Yes.
It's absolutely incredible.
And it's just like our food today. Here we have this Creole salad, sliced tomatoes and onions with little carrots and parsley, and then a Greek dressing and some fruit. Very simple. It's different from just putting it in a bowl. Just put it in an oval bowl and cover it with some maple syrup.
Yep. And nothing says a nice picnic dinner on a bench like an amazing sandwich on ciabatta, and I am going to attempt to get my mouth around that.
You're going to attempt that?
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, right before you attempt that, remember the book is Someone Builds the Dream, and we have it here at the Wellfield Garden bookshop and gift shop, and you can come in and choose it. And I found it fascinating, and I found the whole concept of how everybody shares in building a dream and carrying out.
There's so much that goes into it.
Right. So again, thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, I came, but you were here.
I am already here, and it is a pleasure to be here.
It really is. Remember, good food, good friends, good books, good projects, good sandwiches.
We'll give this a try.
Make for a great life. Oh, he made it. He did it. Oh, Felicitations to you.
That's a
yes,
good one.
Indeed. So have a nice week, a nice year, a nice month, and join us again at the Wellfield Botanic Gardens. And remember, good food, good friends, good books, good projects. Great life. See you next time.
This WNIT local production has been made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.
Dinner and a Book is supported by the Rex and Alice A. Martin Foundation of Elkhart, celebrating the spirit of Alice Martin and her love of good food and good friends.